Welcome to my May 2024 update of the top paying savings accounts here in the UK. I will take you through the ones right at the top of the table with the highest interest rates, plus share with you some new products and some news and some offers that might help you make your money get a little bit more as well. Let's start off with easy access savers. And before we look at those top paying rates, a few little product news you should know about. One of them is for Chase. Now, if you are already a Chase Bank customer, you may already have been using their savings account, which for a long time was one of the top paying ones. And in recent sort of months and years, it's been kind of there or thereabouts, way off the top. So not really worth considering, but if you've already got it, you might be using it. And if you have been using it, then sadly, you've missed out on a 1% boost, which isn't particularly fair because the only people who have got this were customers who had less than £500 in a separate savings account within the Chase Bank app as of the 8th of March this year. So if you had £501 in there, you would miss out. So again, lots frustrating for a lot of you, and I saw a lot in our community, a lot of people quite angry about it. Now, if you were eligible because you had less than £500 in the account, in one of those accounts, and you had been a Chase customer before the 29th of February, that offer is still showing in the app if you haven't activated it. And you do need to activate this 1% top up, which will boost you up from 4.1% to 5.1%, which is, as we'll see in a minute, one of the better rates available out there. So it's definitely worth considering. However, whether you got it or you're angry because you've missed out, because you didn't get it, it's not quite as amazing as it first seems, that 5.1% rate. For a start, that bonus, that boost of 1%, only runs until the 4th of November this year. So from where we are right now, that's 6 months. If you did activate it a month ago, that's 7 months. But it does mean at the end of that period, your rate will drop back to a far less competitive rate than what is out there. Plus, as I told you last month, Chase is changing this month the rate to be a tracker rate, which means it will follow the base rate. When the Bank of England drops rates, which is expected to happen later this year, now it's been delayed a little bit, thought to be in the summer, maybe looking now at the autumn, again, that always changes, then your rate will also drop. So you could well find you put your money in Chase right now, it's a nice healthy 5.1%, but come November, not only does that 1% go, but that rate might drop down a fair bit as well. And you could be getting around, let's say 3%, something like that. So worth a look, but don't get too excited about it and don't get too upset about it if you have missed it. While we're talking about rates falling, just a reminder for those of you who have the Santander Edge Saver account. Again, this was really popular. This was paying 5.2% last autumn, which was one of the top rates out there. And very, very few accounts have gone above that or beaten that. And a number of you got that and still have your money in it. A reminder that that will drop to 4.2% on the 20th of May. So in less than 3 weeks' time. So you want to be start looking. When we tell you about those different accounts in a minute where you could move your money, I would maybe think about opening the account right now. Even if you're not going to move the money straight away, because you want to get that higher rate for as long as you can, open up the account now because we are seeing a number of these rates being pulled every single week. Some of those top ones have disappeared. Sometimes a newer one comes along a bit higher up, but broadly speaking, you can open up one now and move your money across in a few weeks. Now, before we do get into those best buys, I do want to quickly give you an update on the Santander Edge Saver. Now, we've covered it a lot since it launched because this one pays you 7% on your savings with a few catches. The first one is it's only for a year. That rate does drop by 2.5% after 12 months. The next one is that it's only on balances of up to £4,000. And the third one is to get this, you have to have a Santander Edge current account, which comes with a monthly fee every single month, which obviously will reduce the ultimate interest you get. Now, for a lot of people, if you're also paying your bills out of that Santander Edge current account, then you will get cash back on those bills and that will cover the fee and make you a little bit of money. So you should still be getting that pure savings rate. But if, like me, many of you have got a different cashback account for your bills, then now still available for existing customers, but closed to new customers, 123 or 123 Lite, and did cover that recently in a separate video, so they're worth checking out, these different accounts. Then you might not want to open up another one of these because then you really are getting a reduced fee. However, there is a potential hack, and I did cover this back in September in one of these updates, but I didn't actually try it myself until just a month or so ago, and I finally had the results come through, and it does work. So I'm just going to kind of remind you what it is. This is where you open up the Santander Edge current account, but you do not activate the cash back on your bills. And basically that means you don't set up any direct debits in there. You don't transfer in money on a regular basis. The things that you need to do to get that cash back. If you don't do those things, they do not take out the monthly fee. So it just stays there. But you can still open that Edge Saver and put up to £4,000 in there and get that 7% rate for that first 12 months. Potentially as well, you could have, you've got a partner, you could both open up an Edge current account each and open up an Edge Saver account each, do exactly the same thing. And you could open up a joint Edge Saver account and open up another Edge Saver each. So potentially between you, that's £12,000. Sorry, no, it's not. It's £16,000 earning 7%. So that would be pretty much unbeatable. So let's just let you know, I've tried it. I've got the interest, it's come through, and I haven't been charged the fee for this first month. Of course, as I did tell you last September, when I asked Santander about this, they did say that they can, if they wish, if they find that the current account, the Edge current account, you're not suitable for it, they could push you down to a different account, probably their select account, which has no fees but no features as well. If that was to happen, then obviously they could also withdraw, change your Edge Saver to a normal savings account as well with a lower rate. But yeah, it's worth giving it a go. So let's have a quick look, shall we now, at some of those top easy access accounts so we can find out where you're going to get the most for your money. And as at the top there, that Edge Saver account that I've just spoken about, bearing in mind everything I just said, whether you are going to get that full rate or not depends if you would pay that fee or it's wiped out through one of the different ways. Also, the Ulster Bank 5.2% account. This was previously available to everyone. Now it's only available to current account holders with Ulster Bank. And it's a bit of a faff to open up an Ulster Bank current account if you don't live in Northern Ireland. Even if you do, it's a bit of a faff. So I wouldn't get too excited about that. And that Barclays Blue Rewards Rainy Day Saver, if you have a Barclays current account and you add on Blue Rewards and you follow all the steps you need to do for that, which again includes paying a fee but putting direct debits in, which wipe out the fee. So again, I'm telling you about it because these are the top paying ones, but I'm not necessarily saying you should look at Ulster or Barclays as an easy option for you. And also, Skipton Building Society, this member bonus saver 5.5% is great if you are eligible, but you have to have had something with Skipton Building Society before 11th of January 2024. Now, I'm telling you about these top ones. Remember, there are many, 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 many more accounts that you could look at, and we do them every day. BeCleverWithYourCash.com/savings is where there's a much more detailed and longer list of the accounts updated, say, every day, morning and evening, and in between if there's something going along. So if you don't see an account right here, or you're watching this in a couple of weeks' time, rates may have changed, BeCleverWithYourCash.com/savings is the place to go. And before you comment on this video, what about this account? What about that account? If it's not listed here at the time of recording this, it is not one of the highest paying accounts. So let's forget about ones where you need a current account. If you just open up an account anywhere, Kahoot is still top of the table here. This is part of Santander. 5.2%, but this is only on up to £3,000. So fine for most people because most people do not have huge amounts of savings. That's your top whack. If you have more than that and you want it in easy access, then you're looking at Oxford Bank 5.02%. That actually increased today. So it does show there is still a little bit of movement upwards. Monument Bank 5.01%, Paragon 5%, Kent Reliance 4.96%. So you can see here, very, very few accounts now paying more than 5%. In terms of limited access accounts as well, only really Principality Building Society, also at 5%. That one limits you to 2 withdrawals in a year. So again, not many accounts, easy access paying more than 5%. Now, when that Trading 212 account, which I have covered in more detail in a separate video and article at BeCleverWithYourCash.com, that is still paying 5.2%. Slightly different in how it works, doesn't have financial services compensation scheme protection, but it might be one you want to consider because obviously that is, again, more and more now as these rates drop, becoming a higher option for you. Quickly look at notice accounts. Top one here, 45 days, Shawbrook Bank 5.16%, 3 months, Oxbury at 5.26%, 4 months notice, Synergy Bank 5.2%, and 6 months notice, United Trust Bank 5.25%. So if you do want to put your money away for a certain amount of time and you know you don't need to access it, you will maybe get a slightly better rate from these. So we'll go on to other accounts in a minute, but a couple more news things to share with you. First of all, a couple of things around Chip. I know a lot of you have Chip. As we get to later on, it is one of the top paying cash ISAs, and it's not far off those easy access ones we mentioned just now. I wouldn't be surprised if it's in their top sort of 5 or 6 again in a few weeks' time. If you have an Apple iPhone, use iOS, you might need to delete the app and reinstall it. I didn't need to. I checked, my app still opens fine for me, but there was an issue just a few days ago where this was a problem, a bug that they've developed, and the way to fix it, unfortunately, is to delete it and reinstall it. So I would check it now rather than maybe in a couple of weeks' time. If you need to get some money, move some money around quickly and you find that you've got what's going on, just check it now. And if you need to delete it, do that and reinstall it. Also with Chip, you may remember they have a prize draw account. I don't talk about it very often because I'm not a big fan of it, because the chances of winning anything are pretty low. You're better off putting your money into an account that is definitely going to pay you some interest, particularly with interest rates being so healthy right now. Anyway, one quick thing here is they have restructured the prizes. So whereas before there was one £10,000 prize and a number of smaller prizes, now there is one bigger prize, £50,000, another one at £10,000, and then only 250 £10 prizes. So your chances of winning anything are even lower. But if you are one of the very, 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 very few people who are going to win, then maybe you'll get 50 grand. But again, I personally wouldn't bother with this. Just thought it was worth letting you know about it. While we are quickly talking about apps as well, Emma has added autosaves. I love the idea of autosaves. Chip used to offer it, does still offer it for a charge. Plum offers it. Now Emma is offering it as well. And this is where you connect it to your bank account and it analyzes your spending and it thinks, right, you can afford to put this amount away this week, this amount that week. And it gradually, bit by bit, just adds more money to your savings pot, which is a really, really amazing feature. And Emma have added it, which should be good news, but sadly, it's going to charge you to do it on the free and the plus plans, which makes it almost completely pointless. In the same way, it's completely pointless with Chip now. If you are going to do this, just go to Plum and do it there. And I have got another video here on the channel taking you through all the different auto saving options. So look into that. If you want to find more ways to make saving automatic and easy, that will definitely help you out. Quickly, another account I want to share with you. This is an ethical savings account, and this is a fixed account. So we'll go on fixed accounts in a minute. But this is an interesting one for those of you who want to be you want to be sure your money is doing some good while it is being saved, and you don't mind giving up some of your interest as a result. So this is a new account called Planet Saver. There's a 3-month fix paying 3.03% and a 1-year fix paying 3.4%, which are significantly lower than what you could get elsewhere. But 1% on top of this will go to the planet, they say. So website has a list of where this is actually going, but it's a nice idea. So totally, you think about it, it's 4.4% for that 1-year fix, which again is a fair bit off the top, but you know your money is going somewhere. The money is held with BLME, which is Bank of London and Middle East, which is a Sharia compliant bank. So rather than get interest, you get an expected profit, but pretty much the same thing really. And it is protected by Financial Services Compensation Scheme. A lovely idea. I personally think just get the best rate you can for your money. Ideally, put it in an ethical account if you can, such as a building society, and then maybe choose how you want your return, your money you get, how you want that to benefit any kind of charity or cause or the environment that you wish. But it's an interesting idea, and it's good to sort of see more of these kind of products coming along. Okay, let's have a look, shall we, at those fixed savings rates. Remember, becleverwithyourcash.com/savings is where you will find many, many, many more options. These are just the top ones right now. Interesting, I've seen the more and more short, like really short fixes appearing. They come and they go, but I've seen 1 month, 3-month fixes, 2-month fixes appear. There's a 3-month fix right now from Emirates via Hargreaves Lansdown paying 5.09%. So they're not too far off those top easy access accounts. A little bit less than maybe some of those top notice accounts for a similar sort of period, but it's locked in, it's fixed. You are guaranteed to get that money. So if you have a chunk of cash that you know you don't need for 3 months, you're definitely not going to touch it. That might not be a bad bet because you're guaranteed to get that. And again, longer periods, slightly more restrictive because you might not be aware quite if you need the cash in 6 months, 9 months, a year, 2 years. But anyway, there's still plenty you can look at. And there has been a little bit of movement as well upwards in these short-term fixes. Partly, I think that's because, as I said before, that prediction of when the Bank of England is going to cut base rates has been pushed back a little bit. It means that they could do a little bit more money in the short term, a little bit more. But we're talking tiny, tiny, tiny movements up on last month when I gave you this update. So 6 months with Atom, 5.25%, 9 months with Atom, 5.15%, 12 months with SmartSave, 5.18%, 18 months with Alaka, 4.85%, 2 years with RCI at 5.05%, 3 years with SmartSave, 4.72%, 4 years with IS Bank via Raisin, 4.5%, and 5 years with SmartSave, 4.58%. Actually been a little bit of movement upwards on those 3 and 5 year rates as well, but we're talking small amounts. Again, I don't expect us to see really big movements upwards here on fixes. If we've had our peak, we're on the way down, any movement's going to be pretty small. And if anything, we would expect them to sort of come down as we get more predictions on what's happening with the base rate as we go along. I quickly want to take you through the best regular savers as well. Again, no change here from last month, but it doesn't mean there won't be changes. Remember, just a few months ago, Nationwide cut their top rate from 8% to 6.5%, and Gatehouse cut theirs from 7% to 5.3%. So if you haven't already got some of these and you're eligible for them, I certainly would think about locking in right now. First Direct, 7%, fixed, Cooperative Bank, 7% variable, Nationwide, 6.5%. It's still good, just not as good as it was. And Club Lloyd, 6.25%. You do need the current accounts for all of those. There's also the Nationwide and RBS ones just below that you also do need a current account with the bank for, paying 6.17%. If you do not want to open up a current account to get a regular saver, then your best options are Halifax 5.5%, Principality also 5.5%, and that Gatehouse Bank one I mentioned at 5.3%. Some of you, if you are a Skipton Building Society member, we were able to get 7% on a regular saver there. So a couple of good loyalty options from Skipton Building Society that are worth knowing about. And what else to tell you about? What haven't we touched on? Do you know what we need to talk about? We need to talk about ISAs, don't we? I did an ISA update just a few weeks ago, and hopefully you've already seen that, and hopefully you've already looked at the best rates. There's been very little difference since then, up or down, roughly more or less all about the same. And I think this is a shame, really, because I really was hoping there was going to be some kind of competition coming along to help us, at the start of the new year, get more of your money in. And I think, as I kind of mentioned in the podcast last week, if you haven't already listened to that or watched that, the Your Money This Week episode, we're doing it every couple of weeks now. But one of the stories we looked at was the fact that many banks and building societies are not introducing the new ISA rules that start in the new financial year. They are optional. They don't have to do it, but that's frustrating for us as consumers. This basically means you can, in theory, do partial transfers of ISAs for money you've added in the new year. Most places aren't letting you do that. And also the ability for you to pay into more than one of the same type of ISA in a new financial year. Technically, you can do that, but you're going to have to, in most cases, as I said in my video a few weeks ago, you're going to have to do that with different providers. There are very few ISA providers that are letting you have both an easy access and a fixed ISA with them. You can mix it about, as long as you don't go above that £20,000 cap in total over a year across all your ISAs, but it's very few that let you do it with them. The ones that are the ones that did it before, because they had this kind of portfolio ISA is kind of the term for it. So Nationwide and Zopa did that. So if those ones will let you mix and match if you want to keep it all in the same place. Sadly, not many other places will. And very quickly, let's have a quick look at the top paying ones. Remember, becleverwithyourcash.com/savings. And we do have a separate page for ISA savings accounts as well that you can look at. But here are the top ones. So Pure Easy Access, Chip 5.1%. Limited Access, Plum 5.17%. This one does have a few caveats that are worth knowing about, so do check out my ISA update from a few weeks ago with more information about that, particularly if you're planning to transfer any cash. Top 1 year is with Virgin Money, 5.05%, but you do need a current account with them. If you haven't got a current account with Virgin Money, you don't open one up, then we drop down to about 4.72%. Again, you'll be able to see more of those rates, becleverwithyourcash.com/savings. 2 and 3 years, both with Oak North, 4 years with UBL, 4.05% there, 5 years with Shawbrook, 4.17%. And the top paying lifetime ISA is still Moneybox, 4.4%, although it does drop after a year. So you probably were better off looking at Tembo with 4.3%, but I will do an update on lifetime ISAs for this year very soon. So there you go. They are the top savings accounts for May 2024. More over at becleverwithyourcash.com/savings, and check out these videos for more ways to make the most from your money.